Hey, it's your girl Sonia J here, and it is a free game Friday. I know you guys like free stuff, so I figured I'd put you guys up on free game. So I was reading, and I saw this article that said how important it is for new parents of newborn babies and infant babies to allow their child to self-soothe. Self-soothing meaning allow them to soothe themselves through moments where they don't necessarily need anything. They may want someone to pick them up. They may want someone in their face. They may not want to be alone. You may be busy. You may be working. You may have just put the baby down. You may just want 5 seconds to yourself. Letting your baby self-soothe is healthy and it is important. Self-soothing for babies looks like pacifiers and thumb sucking, playing with toes, distracting themselves with toys, learning to occupy themselves and work through the current moment. Well, it is not just for babies. It is an amazing skill and technique for everyone to have, no matter your age group. Especially if you are going through healing, which I know the month of September, everybody under the planet has been triggered and they're going through emotional stuff. Stuff is coming to the surface, emotional wounds, things like that. Part of healing is when you're triggered, identifying that you're being triggered and then allowing yourself to process and feel those emotions. Well, if those emotions were connected to something extremely traumatizing or a traumatizing event, it could lead you into panic attacks or anxiety and things like that. So it's important to learn how to soothe yourself through those particular emotions and that particular event, because it's going to pass. But until then, you need to learn how to self-soothe. So self-soothing is also good for when you're lonely and that one toxic ex texts you, the one that has the bomb wop and her stuff is so amazing, but she's super toxic and you know that she's going to make you feel good for right now, but it's the after that makes the difference. Same for my ladies. You know that his sex game is amazing, but he's only going to soothe you for that moment. And then afterwards, the toxicity and the drama and stuff continues, and that's not what we want because we're trying to grow through that, right? So when we're having that loneliness or just going through that whole moment and then that ex texts us, we need to learn how to self-soothe through positive talking ourselves through that particular wave of emotions, because that helps cut down on codependency. That helps us to deal with abandonment issues. Ways to self-soothe for people who really like touch and warmth helps them to calm or soothes them. Things like a hot bubble bath. I know it sounds like so cliche, but the warmth of the water surrounding you, the vibe, like the bubbles and things surrounding you and around you, the texture of the bubbles, the flow of the water, it's actually soothing when you're having one of those moments and you're the kind of person who gets soothed by touch, because the way that it feels on your skin, the texture and things like that, it actually connects your senses and everything, and it will help soothe you in those moments. There's breathing techniques, hand over heart, visualizing white light around you and visualizing all the negativity and dark emotions and any like black spots in your aura being like sucked out with the vacuum cleaner. Hand over heart, actually feeling your heart beating and talking to your heart, loving on your heart. I know it sounds really crazy, but when you're by yourself and you're having one of those moments, like I'm telling you, it is everything. Telling your heart it's going to be okay. Talking yourself through that moment. This moment is temporary. I'm going to get through this moment. I love myself. Having compassion for yourself. Listen, this is a moment. It's not even a moment of weakness. I'm literally having a moment, and that's okay. Everybody has moments, and I'm going to get through this moment because I am stronger than this moment. Literally talking yourself through it. Breathing exercises. Breathing through that particular moment. Deep breaths in and exhaling out. Nice slow deep breaths. Also breathing exercises along with visualizing things, positive things, visualizing your life once these issues are healed and once these issues are no longer issues, visualizing how happy you're going to feel, visualizing how good it's going to feel when you no longer have the attachments to people, visualizing cords connected to you and that toxic person and them being cut. And I've even had to do this, visualizing, like, like fishing hooks, like, like when you go fishing, the little hook that you take out when you catch a fish that you take out their mouth, actually visualizing yourself unhooking the cord that is deep inside of you and letting it go and letting it go and knowing that you are no longer attached to that person, that you are no longer connected to that person. You've cut the cord and you've actually unhooked the cord from deep inside of you, so it no longer has any type of power over you. These are all, and there's a whole bunch more. There's tons of more. You can go on Google and look at it. But these are things that are going to help get you through those really tough moments, because when we look for something that's going to help us. That's where addiction comes from. That's where emotional eating comes from. That's where the choices with connecting to toxic exes and things come from, or just finding somebody who's going to physically soothe you when you know that that's not what you need. And so finding ways to self-soothe yourself that have nothing to do with another person, have nothing to do with addictions or emotional eating or anything like that, are extremely helpful. They're not just helpful as you and a person. It's really helpful in your growth, and it is really helpful in your healing process. It is really helpful in teaching you that you can trust yourself, because when you self-soothe through those moments, you're not repeating bad habits, you're not repeating toxic habits, and that makes you proud of yourself, and that makes you feel like I can trust myself to get me through things. Who was with you and who went through that moment with you? Yourself. So it helps you to trust yourself that you will be there, that you can get through these things by yourself. You don't necessarily need a bunch of people to always be around you, so you don't have to feel these emotions. Like, I literally allowed myself to feel these emotions, and it sucked, but I got through it. So there are so many benefits to learning how to self-soothe that help you connect back with yourself, that help you regain your confidence in yourself, your trust in yourself, faith in yourself. And these are all things that help us make better choices. It helps us raise our standards. It helps us attract better. So self-soothing is not just for newborn babies and for little infants. It is totally for every single one of us. And the more you practice self-soothing habits, the easier they become. Then they become automatic. As soon as something happens, you're automatically in self-soothing mode, because that is just how you deal with negative things in your life, and how you deal with just when things happen in your life, because we all know in life things are always going to happen, and when they happen, when you make it a habit to self-soothe, it becomes automatic. As soon as something happens, you're in self-soothing mode, which literally means that you are in control of you. You are in control of how you handle the things that happen in your life. You are literally in control of how you respond to those things. That is so awesome. That is so amazing. Especially if you know that just 6 months ago, you were not in control. Anytime something happened in your life, you would completely lose control. You would completely lose it and make the most worst choices and had such bad habits and trying to deal with it. It makes such a difference, learning to self-soothe. So Google self-soothing ways that resonate with you, and then practice them, and then let me know how that works out for you. Okay? All right. Well, you guys have an amazing weekend. This is Free Game Friday. Remember, failure is only a blueprint of what not to do the next time.